3, go.
All right, so the first step in getting ready to learn how to use a sewing machine is to load your bobbin full of thread. So the thread is found all throughout the room. The bobbins are typically going to be stored over on our small storage rack. I got this one from our jar of clear empty bobbins. If you can't find an empty bobbin, you can find a bobbin that's stored over there that has just a little bit of thread left, and you can just pull that thread off and then use it as if it were brand new. So the first step is to take your thread and put it on the post at the top of your machine. And then you can lean in and look here. I'm gonna follow these dashed lines. So the dashed lines and these solid circled numbers are for loading the bobbin. You'll later see there's another set of diagrams, and that's for loading the machine. But right now we're following these dashed lines. So I'm gonna take my thread and I'm bringing it behind this metal post here. So I'm following this diagram. I come in front of the circle and behind the circle. Again, following this diagram. My thread then comes over here. I'm now gonna take my bobbin. The bobbin has a hole at the top and the bottom. You only go through one hole once. So you come from the middle up through the top hole, like this, okay? So again, you go from the middle up through the top. That's it, you don't go through the bottom at all. So I bring this over here, again, making sure it's set up correctly, so thread's coming over, around, in front of the circle, and then back over here, so it's like a big V, through the hole, coming from the middle, up through the top. Then I'm gonna push the bobbin over. I'm gonna make sure my machine is on. The light comes on when it has power. And then I'm going to press the pedal on the floor, and it's gonna start spinning the bobbin. It now is filling up with thread. I'm holding this top thread the whole time, nice and tight. Otherwise, it'll wind up in this and make a big mess. If you want to, you can actually trim this off after it gets kind of established on the bottom. This is enough for what I need. So what I'm gonna do is push it over, lift the bobbin up. I'm gonna bring the bobbin over to the side of the machine and use the provided cutting tool to snip off these flyaways. So now there should be a small piece of thread coming up through that hole. That's just to hold the thread in place. This down here is the thread that you'll use on your later videos for threading in the machine, because the bobbins actually go inside the machine. When you sew, you have 2 threads, one coming from the top and one coming up from the bottom. That way they interlock and actually hold your fabric together. So the bobbin is the thread that comes from the bottom. Bobbin, yeah. So you'll learn in a video coming up how to put that in the machine. One little tip, always, 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 when you're done loading your bobbin, always unravel this section of the sewing machine, completely take your thread off. Because when you set up the sewing machine, you've got to do it a different way. And if you leave it set up the way you used it for the bobbin, you'll confuse yourself or even jam the machine. So good luck. Congrats on loading your bobbin.